Callie is always late, as I've learned over the past 3 nights. Late for her, late for us, late for always, everywhere, nothing. Still, guided by an old habit of anxiety and politeness, I leave my haven early to wait for her by my car mere minutes after sunrise. I don't mind a few minutes of lost time, but my thoughts and voices in my head will fill in quite nicely whether I want to or not. Which is why I'm surprised to hear Callie's voice after a mere 5 minutes of waiting. Hey, hey, hey! What's a kindred like you doing at a place like this? This again. She looks tired, somehow. More so than usual, like her whole upbeat personality was only a mask covering a deeper tragedy. So I give her a smile for her troubles, but decide not to pry. Smooth, deadpan, or funny. Oh, this whole place? Is just where I hang out. I was actually waiting for you. She jokingly fans herself with her hand. Wow, it's getting hot in there, or maybe it's just the topic. What about we switch gears and head straight to Hope? Let's just do that. Hope is rather busy this night, so the sooner we approach her, the better. Swing open the passenger door with a flourish. Get in, please. She chuckles delightedly. Playing galleon tonight, are we? I roll my eyes as she slides over into the seat, and within moments we're speeding off, chasing after a glimpse of hope for better days. The streets are a little bit busy tonight. I concentrate on driving, the very action leaving my head gloriously empty but unfocused. Callie is being very quiet, suspiciously so. I'm observing her out of the corner of my eyes, but don't notice much distress aside from the usual restlessness she displayed at any point in time. She looks almost relaxed. Sleepy, if that was something we could actually feel. I catch myself missing her mindless chatter. The meeting I have arranged with Hope is going to be rather clandestine in nature. Oh yeah? Yeah. And I have managed to establish is that someone at the double spiral will hand us further instructions. Further instruction? What the hell is that supposed to mean? It's an act, no idea, might be precautionary measure. Sounds like something related to espionage. Perhaps she assumes we're being followed. But to be honest, pinning down her thoughts or predicting her next move is ever a shot in the dark. She hums in confusion, but remains silent. I can almost see the cogs of thoughts spinning relentlessly in her head. She looks worried, and frankly, she should be. Tonight is the last night, oh so graciously granted by our wonderful sheriff, to find Reynard Castle and deliver his head to Elysium on a silver platter. And we still have no clue where he might be hiding. Whereas our lead are slowly but surely drying up. Well, her leads. But I can't have my conscience acting up right now. Hopefully we'll find something to ease her worries at the double spiral. Hope's assistant, Nastia, as always, silent, poor, and decked out in extravagant clothing, leads us through a long dark room lined with massive, servers covered in colorful blinking lights disappearing into the distance. Among the oppressive silence, I watch Callie's head swiveling around as she looks with great interest at Nastia's getup. The servers, me, the random person sitting in the distance. The room's monotony is broken by the sharp clicking of a mechanical keyboard. At the far end of the space, a figure is slumped over a desk, decked in a faded maroon hoodie, with oversized noise-canceling headphones clamped over their ears. I can spot Hope a mile away when I see her, but I decide against warning Callie. Hope deserves her little game unspoiled, and Callie deserves to be taken down a notch by an innocent little surprise. Nastia snaps her finger to get our attention. Apparently, Hope is extremely busy these days, but she'll spare us 5 minutes in the cloud, whatever that means. She gestured towards a sleek, state-of-the-art device resting on a nearby table. That's new. I shoot Callie a puzzled look as she tamps down a laugh. I shrug and move to pick up the thing, but Nastia bats my hand away sternly and points at Callie, her boots echoing on the floor as she exits the room. It's all part of the game, I assume. I meet Callie's eyes and bow deeply, gesturing with a theatrical flourish towards the device. Settle in then. Cool. Just, make sure I don't get digitally abducted or something, okay? I smirk. I know she's joking, but one never knows with our kind. Malkavian or kindred in general. She slips on the headset and immediately tenses with anticipation. Callie, Yuga, what brings you here to steal my precious time? I glance at the maroon-clad person in the corner and see Hope standing up and strolling leisurely forward, the very same device Callie is wearing peeking out from under the hood. Callie starts spinning around as if she was looking for someone. I grin, amused, knowing she cannot see me. Hope really does know how to play, even though her games are best enjoyed as a spectator and not a participant. You can't steal what's willingly offered. Her voice is tight, tense, barely concealed, anxiety peeking through. Hope moves with inhuman speed, in the blink of an eye, materializing behind Callie with a soft chuckle, trailing pale finger down her spine. Yours truly she ignores completely. I am... Oh, I know exactly who you are. I know everything about you, Callie, Yuga, Callie, Sally. California Lowenthal? Really? California? I smother a laugh. No wonder she's so adamant about going by Callie. The name's Callie in this unlife. California is dead. We're all dead, Callie. But even though I can and want to tuck that name for later and make just so much fun of her, I accept her decision to leave that person behind and her resolve, and the secret that she keeps. That much I owe her. But you were Callie long before, weren't you? Just a fine little hippie's daughter, cavorting through the dark web, hidden behind a name that makes you feel cool. Callie Yuga. The war and conflict on legs. Do you think you've lived up to that ominous alias, California? Have you caused enough ruin, wreaking havoc with just a careless click? A kindred spirit! It must have felt good, having all this power over living beings and inanimate objects, deciding their fate with cold, calculated keystrokes. I know all your daily little secrets, even those you left back at that music festival where California perished and Cali emerged from the flames of a dying phoenix. Even those trailing behind you like sins in your endless repentance. Hope's words are grating, but true. That much I can tell. Cali's past sins are of no interest to me, nor of importance, but they do make me sad and understanding. As they slice and break through the walls of her personality, I can't help but notice Callie on the side. The small one, the lonely one, the fragile one, the one who was used, neglected, and hurt her the whole life and beyond, and the one who bristled and instead of yielding or running away attacks. Doxing much, I see? What about your precious time, huh? How about you cut the crap and drop some actual wisdom? Just spit out where Renner is and I'll disappear. What's up? Mic break? A dire packet loss? Oracle my ass. I can see her square her shoulder, spitting insult like a feisty kitten, while Hope smiles under the hood and takes off the device, shaking her hair back into artful order. She taps Callie gently on the shoulder, who flinches and spins around, hand raised and ready to fight. You can take off the headset now, Callie. So she does, glaring fiercely at Hope, her phone, bored expression, and the faded maroon hoodie thrown over her shoulder. One look towards the now deserted desk, and storms start brewing on her face. Really? Going all jigsaw on me like that? Seriously, I'm pissed. Hope doesn't even grace her with a glance. I'm gluing on stuff like that, death and scrambled eggs, but my knowledge on Red Grey Castle, not so current since he flipped this shit. No clue where he's at or what he's up to. Yeah, tell me about it. Look, I'm just trying to piece together why he shot up to the top of the circulatory system. Is it list? I mean, he's crazy, sure, but this is some serious shit. Oh, it's bigger than you think. But your little trip down their rabbit hole might just work out for both of us. As long as you snag some juicy intel from their database. With a flick of her wrist, and still not looking up, she throws a small dongle at Callie. Make your way to the circulatory system's core, plug this sucker in, it will slurp up the data without even a faint digital whisper. Basically untraceable, even to me. Which is bonkers now that I think about it. Precious time, remember? Get it back to me and I'll dive into the goods. And hey, if there's anything juicy on Red Ray, I'll throw you a big meaty bone. You mean you'll let me in on the Red Runner fires? Potato, tomato. So we've got the scoop on snagging the data. What's the game plan for getting in? Oh, you're on your own here, sweetheart. B and E's are not quite my letters. Still glued to her phone, she turns out her heels and before and nods in my direction. Pádraic? Ah, I see the jig is up. Oh, pleasure as always. Quiet. Pleasure, pain of what you know, of what you never gain. The moment Hobbs vanishes behind the door, Callie arcs her back and hisses at me like a cat full of battle mode. Cat in full battle mode. You knew it! It was her this whole time and you fucking knew it! I just shrugged, completely unfazed by her meltdown, but I managed not to smile, lest that exacerbate the breach of trust. Dismiss, lie, or deflect. I merely suspected, but who am I to rob Hope of her entertainment for the night? Besides, we got what we came for, didn't we? Sure, but what about my dignity? To that, I have to smile. What about it? Oh, piss off! She swats at me playfully as we leave the surfer room, ready for the next step of our caper. Callie's mood shifts dramatically as soon as we buckle up in my car and take off toward our gold. She falls silent, staring quietly out the window, still as if not calm, but numb. She doesn't mention her name, the sins of her past, or anything Hope decides to discuss with her. Perhaps she doesn't realize I heard it all. She deserves her privacy, so although I am burning with curiosity, I don't pry. But I can show concern either way. Is everything okay? Yeah. It's just that I might not know Renard as well as I thought I did. The security system, the antediluvian, some enigmatic powerful backer. I'm not even sure who he is anymore, and it's not like I can just ask him now. I won't tell her that it might be for the best. She most probably wouldn't like the answer. Okay, I'd probably tell her that it might be for the best. She most probably wouldn't like the answer. Put yourself in her shoes, cheer up, or sympathize. I get it. It's really unsettling to realize you don't truly know someone you thought you were close to. Guess the ticking clock isn't making things any easier, huh? It fucking doesn't, but cheers for the reminder. My apologies. Wasn't trying to add to your stress. Yeah, I get it, but hey. She's playfully smacks my shoulder, forcing a smile through the strain. At least you won't be stuck with me much longer, right? That makes irritation bubble in my chest, even though I know it's merely a lame attempt at dissolving the tension. You know I take no joy in the thought of hauling you before the Primogen Council should we fail to capture Reynard. I glare at her to drive the point through, but she swiftly turns her head away and looks out the window. Well, I do now. Although I would rather not spend any more time with Hope than absolutely necessary, I believe that her technological expertise might be the key to accessing the circulatory system's database. Callie and I spent a solid 5 minutes just gazing up at the building we are about to infiltrate, our necks craned, completely silent. Although I have lived a short life and trodden the unlife for much, much longer, I never actually resorted to burglary. It's always rather exciting to find something new and novel after over a century of being fettered to this earth. That's one massive fucking building if I ever seen one. Indeed. Might complicate our plans, as vague as that is. Probably packed with high-tech security and the usual batch of guards lurking around every corner. Yet, there are also plenty of empty spots you could use to lay low. Look at you, picking the tricks of the trade. Let's just not sit around. Time is running out. The interior of this circulatory system branch is artfully incognito, masquerading as a budget-friendly medical clinic. It's a perfect cover, under the radar from the nosy bourgeoisie, cops, and the feds, while justifying the constant stream of various folks of all hours, even at ungodly times. Like right now, for instance. And here we are, ready to dive into the fray. So how do you propose? Maybe you could stir up a little chaos, distract them for me? That could work, shall we? She gives me a nod, and I still close my eyes and tap into the long, long forgotten part of myself, the one which sang and danced and performed under glaring lights for the entertainment of sparse crowds. Before both war and my embrace destroy and erase this splinter of my soul until only horrors remained, I morph into a figure of pure outrage and despair, shoulder hunch, head down, jaw clenched. I concentrate on exuding the image of a man fueled by fury, ready to explode. I march over to the reception desk while Callie talks herself into my shadow, practically invisible. Before the bewildered receptionist can get a word out, I lean in menacingly and begin my tirade, my voice booming with a rough Midwestern twang. I need the manager now! My mother died in this goddamn place because of your negligence! It's not particularly used to imitating accents, but I seem to be doing a good enough job. The receptionist expels and starts opening and closing her mouth like a fish gasping for air. Hand over her files, or I'm blasting your incompetence across every news platform there is! Out of the corner of my eye, I see Callie clearly holding back laughter, and I shoo her off with a sharp but discreet gesture. With all her eyes in the foyer glued to Callie, slips away from the storming glads through the back door unseen. I have no idea how much time she needs, but I do hope she'll manage relatively quickly. There's only so many invective I can shout at the receptionist before I start going in circle. You absolute motherfuckers! You wanna bleed me dry too? On the other hand, refusing to be placated is very much a local thing, as I have observed over these past few years, so perhaps just screaming for a quarter of an hour isn't just such a bad idea. Yes, fuck him up, lad! This is your chance! Vent! Scream! Howl! For once, I guess I'm going to listen to them. I will sue your sorry asses and stuff them papers where the sun don't shine! Time passes and I find myself disassociating. One part of me stays in my body, feet firmly planted onto the ground, screaming my lungs out at the receptionist, the manager, two more employees desperately trying to calm me down, the guests, the security guards, everybody! The other one floats about the filth of material world, unbothered by it and untethered, much like a little balloon barely held in the hand of a small child at a church fair. I ain't wanna hear no excuses. My poor mama. Minute slowly trickles by. I am still going on of the poor employees when I catch Callie slipping back into the foyer. She nods at me curtly before zipping towards the exit. And another thing. But you know what? Take your fancy talk and shove it where your sun don't shine. Fuck you and see you in court. Make a show of storming off, actually beating Callie to the door. Once we're clear of that boring beige foyer, we bolt to the car and hop in within seconds. Not telling if we caught on to someone snagging their precious data scot-free, but the circulatory system doesn't come tearing after us as we peel out of here. I am still expecting a pursuit. Ventures are not exactly Ventures are not exactly known for their lenience and charity, so I make sure to weave swiftly through the streets, mindful of my surroundings. Callie is clearly delighted by this turn of events. Woohoo! Let's fucking go! I can't say I'm not tempted, but in the end, it's better if we don't attract too much attention. Kindred or mortal, I ease off the accelerator, blending into traffic as we head back towards Manhattan, much to Callie's visible disappointment. Believe in her, check up on her, encourage her. Did you run into any trouble downstairs? Nah, just some lab rat and a rent-a-car, but nothing I couldn't handle. Quite an adventurous night, I see. She tosses her head back and laughs, and a smile content with her emptiness. You could say that. And you enjoyed going berserk on those corporate drones? I just shrug. I have little sympathy for Ventru ghouls. As far as I'm concerned, they signed up for this job and in all its perks. They don't deserve it, but you do. You do. You do. Ice cold, man. Impressive, too. Stick around me a little longer and I'll make a con artist out of you yet. Who's to say I'm not one already? She bursts into laughter again, and we continue our journey into much better moods than before. And we're back at Double Spiral on Manhattan. Let us hope that hope gleans something useful from the data. We don't have to waste another little game reverse. Okay. This time, as we enter room in the basement on Double Spiral, escorted once again by Nastia, the one who greets us is Hope in the flesh, not the virtual void. She doesn't spare us a glance, though her eyes still glued to her smartphone, as she impatiently extends her hand, gesturing for me to hurry up. Callie gives her a high five first, but when Hope shoots her a displeased look, she obediently hands over the dongle. Hope plugs into a laptop, and suddenly all the nearby screens spring to life, displaying a plethora of text, photo, videos, and voice recording. Hope starts blisting through the data, silently scanning multiple pages at once, too fast for anybody to keep up. One might think it's a special Malkavian ability, but truthfully, Hope simply is an unsurpassed technology savant. She seems to finish in mere minutes, stretching in her chair before immediately driving back into her smartphone. Thanks. There's a goldmine of info in that database for someone like me. Yeah, totally. And what about Reynard? She stops typing for a chilling moment, but her finger starts dancing on the keyboard again soon after. The mess he got himself wrapped up in. Well, it's way deeper than I thought. She points offhandedly at one of the screens. A scan of a report from the FBI Special Affairs Division. The file, apparently intercepted by an unnamed circulatory system associate, is a virtual treasure trove of photos, videos, and more. Reynard Castle's face pops up here and there. This Sinless over here, he's up to his neck in shit peddling, rare blood, mortal trafficking, where that's a given. Corroborating with the sad, yeah, sure, diablerie. Hope's voice drops, her brows knitting together in a deep frown. That's bullshit. Of course it is. Despite her storm bringing her data, her demeanor remains eerily serene. She is, as always, the most relaxed person in the room. A stark contrast to Callie, who tenses up more and more with every passing minute. She even avoids my eyes as if afraid of what I might read from them. I am in no place to judge anybody, but she doesn't know that. Can't know that. Okay? So, this old spiel is what literally catapulted your side to the #1 spot on the Secretary System hot list. Is there anything else worth mentioning? Yep, arms trade. Interesting. Finally arrive at the core of the matter. You might achieve two goals at once, uncovering to whom Castle is supplying weapons and clearing Callie's name with the council. I do not like it, but I must resort to feigning ignorance. And is that an issue? Nope. At least until you take a peek at whom he's trading with. But I mean, there's no way he could pull off like a weapon deal with a high-profile mortal. It's just too small for that, I think. And who might this mortal be? Hope's grimace with discontent, nose still stuck in the smartphone. She flicks her wrist and somehow the report scrolls a couple pages down. And didn't say. And the rest of the note is all redacted. Must be someone major. Seriously, I'm dying to know who he is. Damn it, every time we get closer, the path veers off course. Oh, and speaking of big names, this bit says Red Ray's been involved with that Onslaught Vampiress Veritra. BTW. She's also way up there on the circulatory system hit list. Could be a random thing, or maybe not. Vitae freezes in my vein. He tickled the sleeping dragon, lad, just the way you should have. But, like, they barely have any deets on her, figures. She's very sneaky. Bollocks. I can't have Hope exposing Vitra in front of Callie, not when I'm so close to. Yeah, Veritra is a tough cookie to crumble. I shoot her a warning look, to which she responds with a blank stare. You're playing with fire, Callie. Oh? Did Red Ray spill some tea about her? Spill some more about her. Calling me super curious. Spill some more over here. No spill tea needed to hear the talk around the city. Everyone in there starts shitting their pants about her. True. And they're right, though. No one's really got anything solid on her. Not even me. Just that she's definitely mixed up with some nasty shit. So the word is she might be linked with the Black Hand. But honestly, if there was any proof, I would have totally found it by now. The Black Hand? Impossible. Blackened, shard, tarred, black, all black, all black. I give my ring a few spins to calm down. It's mere speculation. I would have known if she was involved with the Black Hand? You mean the Sabbat? Aren't they extinct on the East Coast? I make sure my voice is steady when I speak. They were driven out of New York City 2 decades ago. It does not mean they're extinct. How do you always know just too much, Patty? Seriously, my offer is still on the table. I could really use someone with your knack for sniffing out the hush-hush. Maybe later, not right now, or no. Let's discuss in a later date. I'm rather occupied at the moment. Shame. But as I said, I don't think she's with the Sabbat. It just doesn't vibe with her usual, let's call it, modus operandi. Care to elaborate on that? She sighs deeply, as if the questions brought to her no small amount of trouble. She does start talking almost immediately. I had a smile. Hope can never resist an opportunity to flaunt her wit. Oh, like, literally a year and a half ago, Veritra just popped in New York overnight, took over the whole Hudson River and half of Staten Island as her domain, and then just went, AWOL. What do you mean? I thought she's been keeping the city in check the whole time. Yeah, she has, but honestly, she has been laying pretty low for a kindred. I mean, anyone who tries to talk to her ends up dead, and it totally shuts down everybody trying to muscle their way onto her turf. So there's that. I will say though, if Castro really is teamed up with her and still has his head on straight, damn, that's no small thing. The tower probably wants him just for managing to pull that off. But let's be real. Whatever drama they're stirring up, it's definitely not part of his plan. Bollocks. I haven't thought about it that way. He'll be like a caged bird. Sing, sing, singing his heart out. Calm down, Pádraic. Even if he is caught, which, judging by Veritra's plan, is rather unlikely. He has no idea about my involvement in the matter of the Hudson. So I'm safe. You hope! No one gets that Veritra is playing at, and that's why everyone's so on edge. Stability is clear in the one I see, and she's anything but that. From what I've seen, that's pretty much the typical kindred push and pull in big cities. Seems to me like she's just the other side of the same coin here, but with one non-negotiable rule. I nodded, but in, voice firm and cold. Yes, don't fuck with Veritra. Hope shrugs, but says nothing more. Eyes firmly stuck on the smartphone. So, a few bits on Reynard, next to nothing about Veritra. Seems like you didn't really find anything interesting in that file. Hope just laughed, completely blowing Callie off, while I rolled my eyes in exasperation. Careful there, Hope will eat you alive, little raven. I bet any other info dealer would know what teas were spilling. Hope looks her dead in the eye, eyebrows shooting up to her hairline, incredulous smirk spreading across her face. Are you trying to get a rise out of me? Oh, that's adorable. Patty, tell her she's adorable. That's not entirely accurate. I will not. I don't answer to you. Well, I've known her longer than you, Hope. She's a menace. That's what she is. Fine. Have you stick up your ass. Just because you're super cute, I'll throw in another tidbit for you. This report's kind of making some guesses about Addison Payne. Addison Payne? Wait, isn't that this old fart in the wheelchair from the Camarilla? Sure is. So what guesses are we talking about? So these bits aren't from the SAD report, but straight from the circular system based on whatever stuff they dug up in the file. Like, there's some buzz about Addison Payne and where he really stands, especially since he supposedly bought spiked blood from your sire. Payne buying from Reynard? Why would he do that? A wealthy venture like him would have no need to stooping so low. They kind of thought the same at first, but then, like a month ago, some of the bigger shots started pushing to cut off his access to his circular system asset until he figured things out. Maybe they used the opportunity for a power grab, maybe not. What is that supposed to mean? Hope shrugs, tucking her hair back behind her ears. There's always been something iffy about Payne, especially since you could never be sure if his lackey is a trustworthy proxy. The way her eyes flicker to mine when she says that. What do you know, Hope? Oh, she knows. She knows. Past, present, future. What's that supposed to mean? But Hope goes back to ignoring us, fully absorbed in whatever she's doing on her phone. That's everything I got for you. The rest is all good is for me. Trust. Right, sure. Is there a chance for a copy of that report? Hope freezes, eyes bulging like she just saw ghosts. Then she starts cracking up, fingers flying over her phone even faster. Good luck with your endeavors. You're gonna need it. And much more than that. We were still mortal. After all, the revolution of tonight, Callie and I would probably find ourselves at a bar, drinking our sorrows away and unraveling the tangled skein of our findings. Since we can't stomach alcohol, we just wander around in silence for a while until we settle on a tiny bench hidden beneath a naked winter tree. There, well, I would like to say that we talk, but I mostly just listen. It seems like the dam on the river of Callie's frustration has just burst apart, water flowing freely to drown my ears and complaints. I don't mind. She needs this the way I need my ring to quiet the raging thought in my head. Raging, skating, scorching, furious. Shut up! The sheer number of times Reynard pops up in these sad files is pretty fucking concerning. Not only because of the actual shit he's pulled, but also because he's been so damn sloppy about it. They have so much stuff on him, stuff that could have been avoided if he's just, I don't know, put a bit of thought into his action and kept me in the loop, maybe? Like, it's no coincidence that there's nothing specific about me in that file, you know? I cleaned up after myself thoroughly, I think. Regular people wouldn't find shit, and Redder left so much fucking trail behind him, I'm surprised she's not in some kind of kindred Guantanamo by now. They could have bagged him without breaking a sweat. I hummed skeptically, leaning towards to examine my ring, spinning it slowly for comfort. And yet, they haven't. Perhaps that speaks volumes about your sire's ability to dodge bullets, even deep in hostile trenches. She snorts inelegantly. Yeah, I guess. He's Ravnos after all. She falls silent. Grievances outpoured. I could let the conversation end right here, right now, but... Any idea why Reynard might be dealing in arms with a mortal? She sighs deeply and shakes her head. Honestly, Pádraic, I feel like I don't know shit anymore. I mean, Renner was never particularly precious toward mortals, so I thought maybe we'd end up wrangling some eventually. But now, I just don't know. Plus, arms dealing? That's so... I don't know. It's not our style, you know. We're Ravnos, we're tricksters, con artists, not warlords. I can't recall dealing with a single mortal since my embrace almost 2 years ago. If Reynard were spelling something, I would expect it to be fake shit, decoys, or whatever, but guns? It just doesn't make any sense. I cough a little to prepare myself for speaking out of turn. I hate to be the bearer of harsh truth, but I get the feeling that you'll never truly know your sires. She collects a handful of gravel from the ground and tosses it, bit by bit, into a puddle of melting snow. I don't know. Can anybody say they really know someone? How do we even know ourselves? I can't help but smile at her. What are we? What are we, if not the secrets we keep, right? She grins at me in return. Who came up with that nugget? I need to shake her hand or something. You know, I think you shouldn't be blaming yourself for this dishonesty. It's quite literally not your fault. Nobody can go through his ordeal expecting to be crossed at every given moment, especially by those we trust the most. That would be a pretty miserable existence, don't you think? I'm not equipped to unpack all that now, sorry. Besides, I have no cash on me for that therapy session you're pushing for, Dr. Conroy. Deflection, classic Callie, strikes again. At least this time she's admitted it. You know, thinking about it, we've been hunting down my sire for 4 nights, and I realize I know jack shit about yours. Care to share a bit? In the spirit of this painfully awkward moment? Tell her, little Patty. I don't. The way you were dug, defiled, devoured, discarded. You are safe, Fionn. I have nothing to hide about my provenance anymore. Not in front of Callie, at least. Frankly, I can't tell you much about them because I don't know myself. What do you mean? I simply don't know who embraced me. Pain, agony, suffering, torture, torment. Yes, all that and more. Hunger. I spin my ring until it rings 20, and I clear my throat to calm myself down. It's a faint memory now, but I remember almost dying towards the end of World War II, somewhere along the Western Front, I think. And then I remember crawling out of a pile of corpses the next night. That is all. I assume I was embraced by a fellow soldier, but there's no way to confirm. Pádraic, I'm so sorry. She pats me awkwardly on the shoulders and I nod, eyes firmly stuck on my ring. Fetter, chain, manacle. My lifeline. I'm one of many, it's all in the past, or thank you. I've come to terms with it, but I appreciate the sentiment. We sit in silence a bit longer. There aren't many people around, but the city still feels alive, bustling, even at 3 in the morning in late December. Callie seems to be uncomfortable with the silence I'm enjoying, judging by the way her hands twitches and legs bounce. Finally, she speaks. So, what I can't wrap my head around is why someone like Payne, a big shot Ventru, would go to such lengths to avoid buying blood through the company he practically partially owns. Is he like trying to back out, tanker their stock on purpose, or what? So, or maybe he's planning to start his own gig? Hard to see now how, with all the Ventru red tape, but maybe? Could he be setting up Reynard as his go-to supplier, or is that his stretching it too much? Indeed, that does seem like a stretch. It's an audacious, almost disrespectful move, not really Payne's way of doing things, especially when he's trying to usurp Panhard. But why else would he do that? The file did say he was buying spiked blood for Reynard. That's oddly specific. Maybe that particular type wasn't available through the circulatory system. I mean, all blood bags are spiked. That's the only way they stay edible. One of the reasons why the resident Duskborn alchemist has so much shit to do all the time in our gang. I hummed thoughtfully, slowly spinning my ring. Well, I am stumped, but hopefully we can find a way to use that information to your advantage when we face the council. You mean like exposing Payne as a fraud right in front of everyone? Damn, Conroy, that's some serious badassery for you. It would be badassery if we had any evidence of these suspicions, which we unfortunately do not. She deflates a little, clicking her tongue. Yeah, I guess that's an obstacle. And how does this Veritra fit into all of this? The ever-elusive mistress of the Huston Vera. Think we could dangle her as bait before the council? Oh, for the love of... I thought we won't be coming back to this topic. Can't run away from the dragon, lad. Nobody can. Nobody. Silence. Tell the war all about the strategy. Lead them. Marry them, lad. Silence! Join them! 20 at last. I'm grasping at straws, I know, but everyone's freaked out by her. I'm not saying Reynard's usually shies away from tough cases, but there's no way easier target to scam. It's also fucked up. I don't get any of it. Remain silent, liar, deflect. Finally get my voice back. But what isn't fucked up, right? I don't get it either. For once, she seems to grasp that I don't want to talk about it and leaves the topic be. Which, unfortunately, means I have to be the one to bring up the tiger in the room. Tonight marks the last night in the grace period Khadir gave you. All our leaves have dried up. It is unlikely we would find anything else of use anyway. I think we have enough circumstantial proof to clear your name in the eyes of the council. We could trade it for your freedom. You mean for a longer leash? They won't clear me unless I handle her Reynard, and we'd both know it. Sure, we have some solid clues, but there's just that. The way the Camarilla treated me, well, I'm not exactly optimistic about returning empty-handed. Best case scenario, they order me to stay in the city and give me another impossible task. Worst case scenario, Khadir takes my head clean off my shoulders. And I don't even know where that leaves you. Technically, you were supposed to keep an eye on me, but... She gestured vaguely. Agree, muse, lighten the mood. I sighed, defeated. Knowing the council, it leaves me deep in the pit of despair, I guess. I squint at the starless sky. I'm missing the internal lights. Perhaps I should leave the city and find peace and quiet elsewhere. Not quite yet, though. Not until Veritra holds her end of the bargain. There's still time until sunrise, but I doubt we'll find anyone at Elysium tonight. I look at her carefully. not bothering to conceal doubt and pity in my eyes. Do you have a safe place to stay today? You're welcome in my haven if needed. The couch should still be here, I believe. She cracks a faint smile. Should still be here, huh? Good thing you didn't get into sales, 'cause you wouldn't sell shit. I have some option, I guess. I've only used a couple of our safe houses around New York so far. I don't know. Can I catch up with you later on something? I need some time to think on my own. She think, thought, thunk, thinking, tinned, trashed, tarnished. She will be fine, and I will be waiting. I stop spinning my ring and nod curtly. Take your time. I'll wait for you until dawn. She chuckles disbelievingly, unable to keep just a little bit of bitterness creeping into her voice. What if I skip town or something, taking advantage of your misguided generosity? I don't think you will. You haven't thus far, have you? Stand up and look down at her intently. I still believe we can turn this Titanic around before it crashes into the iceberg. We just need to get a hold of the steering wheel. Give her shoulder a reassuring pat and stride off into the night, leaving her to her ruminations. Same river twice, Pádraic's haven. In the quiet of my haven, thoughts of what could befall Callie tomorrow run through my head as twice as usual pace. She's staring down an unjust fate, and I would understand if she chose not to face it at all. But I don't think she'll be back down for a challenge, fatal as it may seem. It is a long walk to my haven, through streets slowly filing with people, the darkness dispersed by soft warm lights spinning from the windows. Were I still mortal, I might have taken the bus, daunted by the effort and cold, wary of the danger lurking in the alleyways. As a kindred, I walk. Who am I to fear, being the apex predator of the night, and a forever cautious one at all? As I wander, so do my thoughts. It's been a difficult night, for Callie in particular. We've uncovered much, and we're left with no time and no answers of any value to the council. Callie's definitely got the short end of the stick here. Can't help but feel sorry for her, especially since none of it is her fault. It's just that her size a real honest to God twat. Moments like these, I'm almost glad I never knew mine, even though it left me with a plethora of my own unanswered questions. Perhaps the council will listen to reason just this once. Or perhaps they'll decide to prolong this torture and try to lure Reynard Castle out with a less civilized method. There's little I can do about it, except to just wait for dawn. My haven is exactly as I left it, but with my thoughts coiling around Callie like a storm, I can't even take comfort in the mundane. Will she find another burrow to shield herself from the day? Perhaps she will simply flee, leaving behind fighting, freezing, fawning, and aiming straight for survival, as is the game she most often play. Or will she follow her daredevil nature, which push and pull her around like a dog on a leash, and show up at my doorstep minutes before dawn? She must know that it would mean appearing before the council tomorrow night to plead her case and possibly lose. I can't keep thinking about it. Such rumination leads to nothing. I will find out soon enough either way. I settle down in my worn armchair and pick up the half-read copy of Finnegan's Wake. Not something anyone, myself included, would call a light morning read, but I never really cared for simplicity. The more bizarre the read, the better, as it stands to aptly mirror my own existence. The way I need to concentrate on the weird, unique structure of Finnegan's Wake helps me calm down, rise above this world, and tangle the mess inside my head. But then I hear a knock on the door, a soft one, hesitant as if the person changed their mind midway through. I opened the door to see Callie on the other side, drenched, rumpled, and exhausted, a sheepish look on her face. Come in. Sun's about to rise. I move aside and she sleeps past me into my heaven. Daredevil it is. She tries to nonchalantly look around as if she wasn't a walking mess, barely held together by a string of self-told lies. You didn't oversell it. The couch is still definitely there. I guess it's far too old to sprout legs and walk off. I grin at her, hopeful that she will appreciate the lame jokes. I don't know, I do know it's not stylish, but I'm quite fond of it nevertheless. It's charmingly dilapidated, that's for sure. Would you rather lose the bet tonight? It wouldn't be any... She throws up her hand and immediately cuts me off. No, that's okay. Just making sure we weren't about to find ourselves in the infamous only one bed situation. I seem to have lost the thread of this conversation again. Callie sees my confusion and starts waving her hands around. I mean, you're into all that bookish stuff, I thought. Never mind, it's nothing, believe me. I just nod, decided not to pry any further, and put Finnegan's Wake back onto his shelf. Meanwhile, Callie settles down on the couch, but judging by the relentless tapping of her fingers, I gather she's not ready to drift away just yet. Your brain is too loud. What are you thinking about? Or I'm here. 3 things that says the same thing. Care to share what's on your mind? Your thoughts are so loud they're practically blended with my voices. Just flipping through my bucket list of excuses for tomorrow night. Because, I would like to keep my head where it is. Yeah, are you thinking anything in particular? I know you're wary about ever bringing up Veritra, but I'm fucking desperate here. And I'm ready to throw out my fake-ass Sabat bullshit that clings to her even in the slightest. Veritra again. It seems that there is no escape from this particular sleeping dragon. Never sleeping, always scheming, just like you, just like you. Shush! Mentioning Veritra is a dangerous move. You know how contentious she is to the council. I strongly advise against it. A relentless barrage of curses runs through my mind, clouding my judgment with a flow of raw emotions. Fear. I stop fiddling with the book and sit down next to Callie on the couch. The council doesn't exactly have a stellar record when it comes to making rational decisions lately. However, the web of your sire's connection is extensive and absolves your direct involvement. The council has no rational reason to put you down. I hope my tone is firm enough to finally get through to her. What happened is not your fault, Callie. Gonna stick by you tomorrow, that's a promise. She still looked like a mess, but now there is also a faint glimmer of resignation in her eyes. Is there any way I could cheer her up in the face of upcoming doom? Well, I do have a gift for her. I reached toward the nightstand and retrieved the batteries I put in there in hopes of relaying her to her. I stuffed them in her hands. Almost forgot. You'll make better use for them. Confused, she looks down to see what I've handed her. Unfortunately, the longer she stares at my gift, the sadder she seems to become. Did I make a mistake? Are you sure you're alright? She gives me a forced smile. Yeah, everything's fine. Thanks. I guess I'm not really in the mood for music right now. But I really appreciate the thought. Her voice quivers a bit, so I nod, understanding that she needs some space. She lays down on the couch, fiddling with her Walkman, and soon is fast asleep. I linger until the first rays of sunshine are truly and well batting against the heavy blinds over my windows, then settle on the bed to sleep as well. But I can't chase away the uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach, fearing that what the night will bring. Meanwhile... Pain servant at the Elysium. Elaine? Addison, what a surprise! What pearls of wisdom do you plan to bestow upon me today? The thought alone is enough to give me a migraine. You know exactly why I'm here. I do. But don't let that stop your soliloquy. The ship is ours, is sailing too fast to simply turn back now. The course is set, and it seems that our captain is struggling to command our crew. A faltering captain is hardly the right kindred to help us weather this storm, don't you think? Choosing our captain is in your place, dear friend. Perhaps not, but it could be yours. The tides of change are upon us, Alain, and whether you're prepared for it or not. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be. It'd be better if you stepped aside while you still can, before it becomes inevitable. Would it now, Addison? The cards haven't been played in your favor, I know. But if you choose wisely, you might even seize the role of Primogen in my stead. Think of what I said, but do so quickly. Time is another ally you can't count on anymore. Ellen. So he made a move.